Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 101 of MCEternal. Boy, 101 episodes. That is pretty cool beans right there. So last episode, we got ready to do some radiation scrubbing, which is a good time. Everybody likes that. All right, it's a good thing to do if you're gonna have a pretty radioactive chunk going on. Now, in addition to that, before we start scrubbing too much, I just want to point out, right? We installed a bunch of radiation shielding in our armor. So even though the area that we're hanging out in is pretty irradiated, we're significantly reducing the rate at which we're absorbing radiation into our body. But we're still absorbing it a little bit, right? So just hanging out in this chunk is going to hurt, right? As I sit here and hold right click, right? You know. It's pretty slow, but, you know. All right, there we go. Waited a minute or two. We're up to 15 rads absorbed. So the radiation shielding in my armor, obviously helping, but we're still absorbing, you know, a little bit of radiation. To be fair, we got 3 nuclear reactors in this chunk, all, you know, cooking pretty heavy. Let's do more. I'd like to really ramp up our you know, radiation production before we turn on these scrubbers, because I just want to see massive amounts of radiation turn into almost no radiation, right? That would be cool, right? In my opinion, that would be cool. So let's do that. Let's maybe make another one of these, right? So let's do this. Because I think we want it to be here, right? Is that about? Yeah, that's about where we want it. Let's get some fission controllers. We can, yeah, fission reactor casing. We're going to want like another 200-ish of those. That should be nice and cool. We're going to want a port, and we're going to want a controller. And then the other things we're going to need are 32 of these. Just making sure we've got everything we need. Wow, really? I installed, oh, we have 8 of these now, and we still aren't enough? You know, things and stuff. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. All right, let me get this crafted, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. So I should be able to now copy and paste gadget this guy right about here. And that should be a well-positioned, it's actually back a little bit. So let's do it here. How's that look? Well positioned? Yeah. It's on the chunk boundary corner, so that's cool beans. And I should be able to place that in now. And I'm thinking we'll stick our controller right there. Let's make sure that we have the actual controller that's going here. He's incomplete because we didn't put our reactor port back there yet, but now he should be happy. Yes, fission controller, beautiful. And this guy is going to be the next part of this, which is going to be the high energy plutonium fuel. Now, I'm hoping that HEP fuel can fit in this reactor without much problem. Let me find out. Yeah, according to my calculations, putting high energy plutonium 241 inside this reactor will cause it to melt down in 6 seconds. Probably not an ideal design. So let's undo this build. Thank you. Beautiful. And we're going to come back with a different design for this reactor. So let's pop home for a minute. What I want to do, because I don't actually have this saved, I'm going to put this guy in here with all the walls and stuff. I'm going to save that guy to this template, and we can name it LEU-233 reactor, because I know that that's what it's safe for, right? So now that template name is there, we can handle that. And I'm just going to get a new piece of paper here to insert into this dude. And I'm going to copy the reactor design. Now this is a bigger reactor, I think. It's a 5 by 5 by 7. Okay, so that's not too bad. I think it's about the same size, actually. So that's good. That's good. It's going to be the same footprint. It just might be a little bit taller, maybe. Now this one needs a lot more different stuff. So what I'm going to do is paste that guy in here. Hold on. Copy. Generate building gadget string. And we're going to paste that in there. And save it to this dude. Oh, nope. Paste it in and then load it. There we go. So this is the reactor that we're going to make that's going to be the breeder for HEP241. FYI, the tool that I'm using to check this, just so you guys are aware, is this guy, the NC Reactor Planner. So I've got a couple reactors that I've used in the past, right? So if we hit load reactor here, I'll load up the one that I've been using, which is my LEU-233 breeder. This is the one with just basically a bunch of lapis coolers and fuel cells. This is meant to just like, go crazy on breeding. So there's a lot of fuel cells in there that for up to LEU-233 in the chain, this is a meltdown time of safe, which means based on the amount of cooling we have and the amount of heat generated by this particular fuel source, we're not going to explode, right? Now, if we change the fuel source from LEU-233 to HEP-241, then we have a meltdown time of 6 seconds because this produces 26,000 heat units per tick, and we're only cooling at 3840. So not even close, right? So this thing will melt down in 6 seconds if we actually tried to run this thing. So that's why we're using the breeder that I've designed for 241. I don't know if this is mine. I think I might have tweaked one that I found online. If you Google, you can find a lot of different examples of reactors for nuclear craft, and using this tool, the NC Reactor Planner, it's called, Nuclear Craft Reactor Planner. Super useful. It basically lets you, choose different blocks and different sections. So this is 7 tall, and it's a 5x5 internal, right? So we've got 5x5 layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, all the way up to layer 7, and we can see the different blocks that are in there. Just as a reminder, different coolers have different rules about where they can be placed. So in this playthrough, I'm kind of glossing over some of the nuances of nuclear craft. In my last playthrough that I did, the last Let's Play I did, I definitely went a little bit deeper into nuclear craft's mechanics, but we'll review this in game in a second here. So back in game here, you can see the coolant rules are indicated when you hold shift. So for example, water coolers, they have a passive cooling rate, 60 heat units per tick, but they must be adjacent to at least one reactor cell or active moderator block. If they're not touching one of those, then they're not cooling the reactor, and that's bad. Redstone coolers, for example, do more, 90 heat units per tick, but they have to be adjacent to a reactor cell. Glowstone coolers must be adjacent to at least 2 active moderator blocks, right? So there's a lot of nuances to how you build these things. And like I said, I've been kind of glossing over some of the nuances of how to build it because this time through, I'm using some reactors I designed from my last time playing with nuclear craft, which I think was in the F2B Revelation series, right? So let's look at all the components that we're going to need to build this thing, right? Because there's a lot more coolers that we need now. So I think we've got some cryothium coolers in here. What's the hotkey for building gadgets? Options, controls, category, gadget. So there is a material list M. Let's make that a different hotkey. Numpad 9 sounds like it's not in use. So if we numpad 9 this, we'll see exactly the list of things that we need. We can also copy this to the clipboard so you can, put it in somewhere else. But we're going to need things we haven't designed yet, which is cryothium coolers, gold coolers, liquid helium coolers, and redstone coolers. Some of these are easy, but I'll tell you liquid helium, that one's a little bit trickier. So let's get some more coolers taught to the thing, right? So we definitely need cryothium coolers, right? So we can either infuse 2 buckets worth of gelid cryothium, or we can use cryothium dust, which I think I'd like to go this route, right? Because do we already have cryothium dust? I feel like we do. Yeah, we do. That makes life easier. Yay! So that's cool. What else do we need here? Redstone coolers and gold coolers, right? So cryothium coolers have to be adjacent to 2 reactor cells. Gold coolers need to be adjacent to a valid water cooler and a valid redstone cooler, right? So some of these mechanics are neat. This is almost like Tetris, if you will, because it's fun. It's a fun mechanic for sure. All right, so that's gold, redstone, and cryothium. So that covers me there. We might need to do water coolers as well. So I think we could do this. Now I don't know if it's smart enough, but it knows how to make water buckets. So I think it'll be fine. This should, in theory, all work out. Cool. So let's get these many different kinds of cooler types. Now, do you need any lapis coolers for this one? You need 26. So we'll keep the 26 of those that we need. And then let's get the 26 cryothiums. Let's make sure that you have all the stuff for that. Perfect. We'll make the 24 redstone. And we will make the 24 gold. That's cool. And then the 12 water. Once we have some crafting CPUs available, which, wow, I need to get on the ball. I added crafting CPUs, I know I did. So we've got 8 of those available to us now, and that seems to not be enough still. Can you normally break? Okay, yeah, there you go, cool. Nice. So we'll let all that craft, we'll come back in a minute. Or you know what, maybe we should look in helium real quick. So helium coolers is another story. Liquid helium coolers need a fluid infuser of liquid helium from nuclear craft, or a bucket of liquid helium from nuclear craft. So where can we get helium from? That is the question of the day. So I know there's helium from nuclear craft, obviously, but is there another helium? So there's helium from nuclear craft, there's liquid helium from nuclear craft, there's also that helium and that helium. I'm not seeing any other heliums. These are just cells of helium. So I don't see any other heliums. So helium from nuclear craft is basically our only solution. Okay, so what we're going to want is a helium collector. So that produces helium, right? So we need a thorium-230 block, huh? How are we on thorium? Yeah, we should be able to pull that off, right? We got a lot of those. All right, so helium collector time. I think this is all we need to do, right? So let's teach you how to make a helium collector. Let's teach you how to make a compact helium collector. And let's teach you also how to make a dense helium collector. And let's see if we can get a dense helium collector. I should be able to, right? Because this thing needs a lot of thorium, but also thorium seeds is a thing. So, you know. We also need zirconium, which we know, and basic plating. So can we get a dense one that produces 320 millibuckets? So it's 5 millibuckets per tick, 40 millibuckets per tick, or 320. Oh, that produces radiation? Really? 1 MRADs per tick. I should put that out at my nuclear craft site then, shouldn't I? We need zirconium ingots, which I could have sworn I taught you how to make. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Hey, smelting. Zirconium ingots. I need you to make them. Thank you. Get me more of them. All right, so I feel like our smelting down here is just, you know. I should make another elite smelting factory, shouldn't I? I feel like the answer is yes. How are we on channels over here? 6 out of 8. So another smelting factory would probably not be awry. So let's get a basic smelting factory. So you're going to need this with some circuits. 10 of them should be lickety split easy. And then we're going to want some tier upgrades. So we're going to want the basic, the advanced, and the elite. Yes? You, and you. Elite smelting factory, is that what we want? Yes, that's as high as we can get, because you can't do ultimate, right? That's not an option there. Right. Okay. So then we'll get an interface. Boop. And that brings our channel use up to 7 now. Yes. And then you can go in here. You should be split on. And then we also want mechanism speed and energy upgrades, of course. Okay. And ultimate universal cables. And ultimate logistical transporter. Oh, that's mechanical pipe. Those two look similar, and I always mix them up. So your side config will be items in the top and output out the back. Yeah? Did I do that wrong? Oh, that's output out the right. Hang on. There you go. Output out the back. That should be cool. And you should be doing plenty of power. So now we can get the dense helium collector, which is 1 MRAD per tick, and it's gonna do its thing. Sweet, working perfectly, and plenty of power. All right, so that's that. And now we have more smelting to make later in the future anyway. Cool. I'm down with this. I think this is a good plan. All right, let's make sure that we have enough fission reactor casings. I'm just going to get 200 more of those. Yeah, just 200 fission reactor casings. No big deal. Mystical Agriculture, you are OP and I love you. I'm just going to clear out the bone meal on this dude for now. We'll get more of him later. Sweet. All right, coming back in a minute. Also, how many reactor cells do I need here? 39. I want to make sure we have the proper amount of resources in our inventory. So you're making the helium, dude. You're also making this. This one's taking a while, though. We should probably do a little tick acceleration. Right? You, sir. Do the thing. That's what I'm talking about. Now are we feeling a little bit better about stuff? Yeah, we're getting there. All right, back in a minute when it's all done. So what I think I'll do is set this up, and we're also going to want a tank. Let's get an ultimate tank. Yes. And let's pop over to our nuclear craft area. And I'd like that to exist in this chunk, right? Where we're going to have our... Because, I mean, this is where all our radiation stuff is occurring, right? Sweet. So what we'll do, because I'm trying to keep radiation away from my base, right? So we're trying to be careful. So helium, dense helium collector, nice and relatively easily auto-crafted. We're going to set you up here. And I think all I do is put the tank on top and we're good. Hey, look at that. Cool. Wow, you filled up real quick. Man, that is fast. That is way faster than I thought it would be. Now that makes helium, right? But we need liquid helium. That's the deal. That's right. I knew there was more pain involved here. We need a supercooler. Helium becomes liquid helium at a rate of 8 millibuckets to 8,000 millibuckets to 25 millibuckets, right? So that's what we need next is the supercooler. So let's get a supercooler set up here. That's a lot of crafting. All right, there we go, supercooler. So what we're gonna want, Hoth machine. Let's do another tank that's gonna store this, and your job will basically be, you're gonna be the supercooler. We're going to mechanism ultimate pipe you out. Okay, ultimate mechanical pipe. There, and you're gonna get the helium. And you're going to need a flux point for removing energy from the network. Barrel 20's network. That looks cool. We're going to need some nuclear craft. Speed this up a little bit, guys. Right? So, like, I hate not having an even number of these. Okay, we need 12 more of each, and then we'll have half a stack. There you go. So you guys go in there. So energy first. Yeah, that's what's up. So you're making liquid helium now. Beautiful. And then you're going to go there, buddy. And we will ultimate mechanical pipe you. And then you're getting liquid helium. Perfect. Now what we're going to want is liquid helium buckets. So let's do the following. What I'm going to get is a fluid doohickey. So we're going to need a couple of these. Again, it's easier to just craft these by hand than it is to go request them out of the network, right? So I should be able to and get, let's get like a few of these real quick. But you should be able to boop, auto input. Will you extract automatically from you? You should, but maybe not until you have power. ultimate universal cable. Bing. You don't want to, huh? Well, that ain't cool. You should. I was hoping he would auto pull from adjacent, right? Yeah, he's making all the kits and everything. So we'll give him a minute. We'll see if once we upgrade him, he does it. But I'm thinking he won't. So let's make you this. Yes. And we're going to have an interface on top of you with some cabling. Okay. And then let's go home real quick while that crafting is occurring, and we're going to teach you helium buckets. Right? So a liquid helium bucket will be an empty bucket goes in, a liquid helium bucket comes out. That's the plan. Cool. I think that's a cool plan, and I definitely like that plan. So we're all self-contained. This guy is, again, producing radiation, but we're doing it here because, you know, smart. All right, and you're doing a really good job of turning our helium into liquid helium. So you're actually keeping up pretty good, which is cool, which is definitely cool. So our kits, huh? Are you done yet, buddy? Come on with all the crafting. That producer of things is definitely slow. So I might just wind up, I don't know, figuring out how I'm going to... If I have to, I have to run cables in the front, and that's going to be... But meh. Or I could run it in the back and replace you guys. So maybe you don't get power back here, but what you get is this. Ultimate mechanical pipes. It'll look a little bit nicer. So you just need a blue in the back. And don't auto-insert anymore. Right? So you're going to insert and automatically push out the top. So now if I say, give me a helium bucket, we should see the helium bucket go in and then turn into our A system. How cool is that? That ain't bad. That ain't bad. And FYI, these are passive machines that can totally be tick accelerated. Ha 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 ha. Liquid helium. Sweet. So I definitely like, you know, this guy. I definitely like it. He may not be pumping fast enough. That's the impression I'm getting here. Or maybe it's just the amount of power use, right? This thing's probably just using a stupid amount of power at this point. Can I, like, you know, disable limit on you? Would that help? Probably not. I think the limit's, like, crazy high. Like, 800,000 RF a tick is, like, the default limit. So, like, there's almost no reason to worry about that so much. But at some point, you're going to fill up this pipe because this is full. So then the pipe will fill, and then the tank will fill, and we'll have a big back stuff, and that would be cool. Let's get home, because now we have to teach you, and remember, if we're teaching new things, yes. So you're going to learn this pattern. Okay. Come on, buddy. And we need 24 dem. Cool. And we can turn off our F3G now. Nuclear area go. Maybe a quick nap wouldn't be a bad idea. And you've got a bunch of buckets in there. And by the way, how's our kit doing? Wow, you're still crafting? These things are the slowest. I'll tell you, the very slowest. Either that or something got gummed up, which is also possible. I had hoped it wouldn't be possible, but where are you guys at? You got buckets in here, huh? How'd that happen? Aren't you set to... you should do blocking mode on here. That's probably why that happened. Probably why that happened. Okay. Now you're... should be getting some. Why do I still have these in here, though? Yeah, you still think you're crafting that. All right, well, it's enough for now. Okay. So, back here, Resonant conversion kit. Do your thing. Oh, right, I didn't put my flux point backer down there. I mean, Flux Networks, it's a cool mod, but it is definitely a crutch sometimes. All right, getting power now. That's cool. So we only have a few more buckets worth. So you should quickly get the liquid helium we need. That looks good. All right, so with this done being crafted now, I should be able to get this guy ready to roll. So let's do copy paste gadget. So now where I was putting this thing, let's see, we probably want you here-ish? That looks pretty good, right? So it's gonna be hard to see, but yes. Yes to that. Now, are you down a Y level? Yeah, I want you up one. Yeah, so then we can put our casings underneath that and we'll be cool. So let's get our coolers out of here for a minute. Let's put away things that we don't necessarily need at this exact moment. And then you should be good. Paste that into the world. Quest complete, by the way. Hooray! And that feels pretty good. And then we can put our fission controllers out here. And I know that our building gadget can help out with this. So let's put you in surface mode. Birds are like, Dyer, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry about it, birds. I'm just building a couple fission reactors in this chunk. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it, birds. Everything's fine. Looks cool, right? Yep, looking good, looking good. If I put you on fuzzy mode, it's a little bit too much. What I'll do is just place them again. Cool. And I don't know if I'll be building many more of these. So what I'll probably do just to be safe, so that should be a valid structure now, right? And I can put my fission controller here. So a lot more heat per tick cooling and a lot less fuel cells equals this is going to be stable for HEP, right? High energy plutonium. But let's go ahead. See, he's taller too. Remember I told you he'd be taller? Yeah, he did. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is the sandstone thing again, like we did before. You can use the copy-paste gadget to, like, not have to do it this way, but I find it a little bit easier. So you're going to go from... Well, I think before I had this guy as one of these, right? Yes? Yes. So that's where you're going to copy from. All right. Clear the existing coordinates. Copy from here. Copy to there. And that's cool beans. So now if we switch you into paste mode, yeah, that looks good, right? It's got the hole in the back, exactly what we would expect. Perfect. And we'll save that for later. So that way it pastes in already having everything we need, which I like. I like that. I think that's cool. Okay. Hey, you, can you just build to me? Ah. What just happened? I might have moved into the block as it was being placed. That's fine. All right, cool. So now we've got the fission reactor port back there. Let's get a flux dude plug adding energy to the networks. That should be nice and easy to make. And you're going to be generators network. And then we need to teach you how to make HEP, right? High energy plutonium 241. So to this place we go, and we're going to teach you HEP 241. High energy plutonium 241 fuel, which I'm suspecting you can make, I hope. We should have all the components needed for this. We're missing plutonium 242. Where does that come from? HEU-235, LEU-233 oxide, HEU-233, LEN-233, HEN, low energy plutonium 239, and low energy plutonium 241. Why? Was I supposed to make HEP in here somewhere? Or HEU-235? Is it LEU-233 oxide that makes it? I don't remember doing this one. I thought that we were making all the fuels we need to be able to make HEP. Let me double check. Hang on, did I accidentally paste in the wrong one of these guys? Plutonium 242, plutonium 241, LEU. We don't have any LEU deploted. So we've got 239, oh, I know why. 242 isn't in a drawer. That's why. We are doing it right. I forgot to put 242 into a drawer, and that was my dire derp. 242. Wow, that's a lot of 242. How are you on channels? You have channels. All right, so let's do this. Export bus. Not a fluid. Not a fluid. Export bus. And 242. I don't want to hold all this 242 in my hand. So he should be exporting, and now let's acceleration card him. Now eventually he'll get into a loop, but he should dump it all in there quickly before we get to that point. Come on, Chief, let's go. That's improving. So I knew I was doing it right. I just forgot that I didn't put 242 into the drawer, which I absolutely should have done. See, now that we're not doing that anymore, like our tiny clump's at 4576, which is how much we have. So now we can remove you, and that's nice and safe. So now I can do 10 of these. Sweet. And then we can head out to our nuclear craft area. Maybe even take a quick nap out here, because, you know, it's a nice place. It's nice and radioactive. We should sleep out here. And just set up your standard interface, right? So we will do one of you. We will get a crafting card, which hopefully is quick enough. Eh, not that quick. We will do our... Come on, buddy. Let's go. Come on. There you are. And then our item. And that seems cool to me. So standard up, insert on green, extract on brown, insert on brown, extract on green. You're going to have crafting. We'll hold this nasty radioactive stuff in my inventory. Look at my radiation on the bottom left. 1 rads per tick. Ouch. Holding that is bad times. Now we should autocraft this. Right? Once I hook cables up. Look at my radiation, y'all. Look at the radiation. It's bad. It's bad. It's red. Red is bad. And you should be getting stuff in a minute here. Yep, there it goes. Nice. Yeah, look at my radiation building up. Who else do you know that's just like, yeah, I'm holding on to this super radioactive stuff. Look how crazy it is. It's really bad for me. If you hold that too long, you will die. I'm just saying. That's a fact. That is a fact. You will die if you hang on to that for too long. So Hep241. 18 rads per tick. Wow. If we held that whole stack. Holding an entire stack of it would be bad. Let's turn this thing on and make sure that he's stable, and then we will wrap up this episode because we've got some nice nuclear progression going on here. So negative 20 heats per tick. So we are just barely stable. But we are producing, with this, power gen 25,000 RF a tick. And the fuel takes about a little more than a minute to burn through. And then we can process that, and I'll set that up next episode, right? That's going to deplete into Hep241 depleted fuel, which we can then fuel process into Americium 241, Curium 245, 246, and 247. And high energy Curium, I believe, 247 and 246 is our next fuel, right? So 247, 246, 247, 246. So the fuel that we get out of this reprocessing, and listen to my radiation Geiger counter thing. Like, look at the rads down there. 4 rads per tick. Definitely worse than it was before, right? Before, where were we? Around 86 MRADs per tick. We're now at 143 MRADs per tick in the chunk, and we're only absorbing 4 or 5. I think that's how that measurement works. Still need to do the radiation scrubbers. I'm just kind of having fun letting radiation run a little wild, and then we're going to do the scrubbing. Yeah, it should be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. All right, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Wow, that radiation's still going up. Look at that. We'll come back next time and play more with nuclear craft, because, I mean, it's just a fun mod. There's a lot of stuff to automate and a lot of fun to be had. All right, guys, take it easy.